Good evening, footy fans. It's Monday night, so it's the ILFL Soccer Night Show. Good evening. You've got me, David Joseph, on stage with everybody surrounding me to talk about everything that happened last week. We've got highlights from the League Cup programme. Good Cup programme to start with. Unfortunately, we have no footage to talk about, so you get to hear us just talking about how well your team did, how badly your team did, and how well are you going to do in the next round. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you the results from last Sunday's games. Here they are on the screen for you right now. We'll run through them one by one. Beaumont went down by 6-2 against a strong SETA side. We'll be talking about that in a little while. As well as the reach-out result, they beat Ireland by 3-1. London Tigers, did they scrape through? 4-3 on penalties against Bromley after a 0-0 after 90 minutes. Tower Hamlets B beat Redcoat by 5-0. Bow beat Riverside 2-1. West End put an end to Robin Hood Tigers' good form by beating them by 6-2. St Catherine's under 21. They scored 2 goals but leaked 4 against Burdett. Stepney beat Bromley Juniors 5-0. We've got a representative from Bromley Juniors in the studio tonight. Stepney B went down narrowly by 1 goal, 3-2 against Beaumont Youth. Sire, at last getting themselves a win. How good is that for boosting their morale? They beat Almazan by 6-1. And West End Reserve against St Catherine's, a 9-goal thriller. Someone had to win it, and it was St Catherine's, and they go through to the next round. So what are we going to do? We've got to talk about the 2 main results at the top of that caption. One being Beaumont against SCTA. And before I turn to the man on my left, I'm going to turn to the man on my extreme left. Nanu, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good to have you back this evening. By all accounts I hear, this was a game where Beaumont were 2 goals to the good and decided to move the bus from in front of the goal. What happened?
I mean, we know with SCTA, you know, the amount of firepower they have. And when they're in form, they're a really scary team. You know, I mean, they play a 4-5-1 formation, and in the middle, they really do like to battle it out. And unfortunately for Beaumont, SCTA were in really good form. And with all that firepower, I mean, where is it going to go? It's going to go at the back of the net, and that's exactly what happened.
It has to hit the back of the net.
It wasn't about firepower. I was there at the game, and I think the Beaumont management had to take responsibility because they had no subs. The manager played with him, including his level players. Yes, they managed to get 2 goals, but I don't think they attacked that much. It came from 2 set pieces where the keeper could have made a difference, but they didn't create many chances. They were 2-0 up. But the second half, they were tired. 3 of the players were more or less injured. They couldn't carry on, but they had to stay on the pitch. SCT saw that, made 2 subs, got 2 pacey players, and they were constantly running. So it wasn't a matter of is he going to come. I could see the goals coming.
Rash, I have to ask this question. League Cup tie, that almost sounds to me as if some people in the Beaumont camp didn't quite take SCTA seriously enough then.
That was the first question I asked because I wasn't really happy with Beaumont turning up 5 minutes before kickoff when I can see SCTA there 45 minutes early, changed and warming up, whereas my team turned up 5 minutes.
Well, this is something that we highlighted about 1 or 2 other teams. You yourself have
I
done
know.
that
I find it so frustrating
program.
when teams don't take, it doesn't matter if it's League Cup or League game or any competition. You need to be, preparation is key. You have to be there early, be prepared, warm up, straight, etc., do the team talk. You come on the pitch 5 minutes before game, no matter how good you are, it will catch up and the other team will take advantage, and they took advantage. And we didn't have the right squad. There were 3 debut players playing the game, and apparently a lot of players blew up in the morning. That comes down to obviously the team management and the structure itself. It's openly saying making excuses, but at the end of the day, we were prepared for the game. We took it, maybe took it a bit lightly because we were tuning up in the second half, and because we didn't have any squad, it showed in the second half where SCT totally utilised the pace and outpowered us and constantly attacked us.
So this is a cup tournament where, realistically,
with the cup holders
could have done very well.
With the holders, for me, it's very disappointing.
Very well.
It's very disappointing for a club of Beaumont to be coming up with excuses and reasons as I'm explaining myself. I find it quite embarrassing, but unfortunately, that's what's happened.
Well, let's turn the other way. Shakil, what have you got to say about the performances?
Hi. First of all, it was a really impressive cup games yesterday.
There were indeed.
60 goals in total, lots of goals. It was like watching the FA Cup 3rd round. There were plenty of goals there. It was really interesting, and to see Richard beat Ireland, we always thought, what will Richard do if they
meet? I mean, let's move on to that one. I mean, Ireland maybe we could argue the same thing. We don't know how Ireland's preparation was, but it turned out. But Reach Out, we know that they're looking to take on all comers. They fear no one.
They are a good team. The juniors, we played them twice. They are really good. The attitude, the discipline, everything about them, the manager, the whole structure of the team is really good.
Just to add to that, Ireland did have a full squad. This is the first week they actually had a full squad. The manager's back. He was off for 3 weeks. Bubba's back. They did have the full squad, but the key difference between the two teams is Reach Out fitness. Their fitness is much better than a lot of the teams in the league.
And one thing he was talking about is the discipline of the players. Reach Out discipline is unbelievable. After the game, when we played Reach Out last week in the league game, after the game, the manager was talking to them, even though they won the game. They were actually willing to listen to what the manager was talking about. And this is all about the discipline of the individuals.
Let's move on to a third fixture there. We have touched on the fact that maybe earlier in the season, is this one of those seasons where Tigers may just take their foot off the gas a little bit and, you know, be distracted by other things going on? They almost slipped out of the cup, and we know what Bromley are like as a cup side when they get the bit between the teeth, and it's a game maybe arguably Bromley could and should have won.
3 weeks in a row, London Tigers have been just narrowly pulling it in the last minute, basically. I saw with West End 2-0 down in the last 10 minutes, they came back to draw 2-0. I saw them losing 2-0 with Stepney in the last 5 minutes, they came back to 2-0. This one again, 0-0 in the penalties. It may be a sign the luck is on their side, but long-term wise, I'm a bit conscious, are they going to perform like last 2 seasons, or are they going to struggle this season?
I know you're a big fan of Tigers. What have you
I don't think luck has anything to do with them winning and narrowly escaping these losses. They're a resilient team. They're full of experience. They're cup specialists as well. And I know Bromley is a lot stronger this season than they were in the previous season. And Tigers have had some changes in the upper management. But Tigers still are Tigers, and they're quite formidable, and I expect them to succeed.
The question is, are they not playing the same style of football as they played last season, the season before? The other teams are maximising that, and you can see on the pitch.
They're not scoring as many goals.
They're not scoring,
and teams away as easy as they did before, isn't it?
Yeah, but they're winning, they get the results, and that's what actually counts, and it's a strategy.
Not convincingly.
It'd be interesting to see who they get in the next round. It would be interesting to see who they get in the next round of the League Cup. It's also interesting to see who they probably get in the Challenge Cup. We have the Challenge Cup draw coming up in the third
It's only
section.
for Division 1 and 2 Tigers. We're going to see Tigers.
Oh, you know what? Why can't we just have Tigers in the Challenge Cup?
They've got, obviously, there's other tournaments we'll discuss. Obviously, big teams will be participating in Interleague Champions, but the Challenge Cup is for Division 1 and 2, so you won't see
Tigers.
Tigers.
I tried to get you in there. You see, I tried, failed live on ILFL Soccer Night. Didn't work. Rash blew you out. Let's move on to some of the other scorers. I want to look further down, and I want to look at some of the teams that took part in some of the lower divisions that took part there. Which ones stand out for you, Shackle, particularly in the division that Bromley Juniors are in? I mean, I know you guys went down 5-0. We're going to come to you in the end. Don't think you're going to get away with it, sir. But let's talk about some of the other teams in the lower division.
I think Boris City, they just narrowly beat Riverside. It was sort of a good game. They scrapped it 2-1, which is quite interesting. But
the other result looks out to me is the Melbourne Youth, the second division beating the Division 1 Stepney B last minute. I'd like to say congratulations to Chucky and the boys. In the last minute, it's 2-0. You managed to get the winning and take out Stepney B from the League Cup.
Sire managed to get a win now. That's their first win this season. I mean, I'm getting close to you now. You're going to see where this is all leading. Sire have just got their first win. So now what does that do for the confidence of a team when they've not been managed to win all season?
They needed that, because what it is, I've seen them in the recent weeks in the matches when they played. They give 100%. They try their best, but unfortunately, the team they played against just couldn't score. For their hard work and the effort they put in, I think that is a good sign. At least they'll get the confidence and be a positive into the team, and hopefully they can carry on the league game next week.
Well done, Sire. Now you know how Alan Pardew feels. Let's move on to you, sir. It's difficult for you now, Bromley Juniors, struggling for form, struggling for points. You come up against Stepney in the League Cup. You know what's going to happen. Just tell me about the approach of that game. Do you approach it and think, you know what, let's just galvanise? Is it damage limitation? Do you feel that you can upset things? Or is morale so low that it's just, well, let's just hand it to them on a plate?
I think at the moment we're struggling for form and struggling for points. But Bromley has always played the same football. We always do. Yes. Whether it's the olders or the youngers, under 12s, under 16s, vets, we'll play the same type of football. But at the moment, Bromley is struggling because we're gelling together the old and the new. So the old and the young, sorry. So we've got about 2 or 3 experienced players, followed by 11 players, some making their debuts in different positions, in goal, in defence, up front. So obviously it's a gelling together of a new team, and Bromley is the best has yet to come, and hopefully we should be a force to be reckoned with in the future.
We say that 4 games, 1 win. You've leaked 21 goals. That's not including the 5 you've just leaked there. Where is it? Are you not able to score goals? Are you struggling to put a back 4 together? Is the keeper too short? What's going on?
At the moment, it's a learning curve. So yeah, the defence is a young defence. It's a young defence. We have 1 or 2 players that are experienced, and they're not defenders. They're strikers or midfielders. So what the defence is a young back 4, and for the first time, after a long time, for the first time, they're playing together in 11-a-side up against grown, strong, physical men. And this is obviously boys versus men. So it's that transition of going from boy to a man and playing from a boy to a man. And this is 11-a-side, obviously, we're talking about. And we just got promoted recently. So it's going to be a bit difficult couple of weeks.
It's full of youth, so you just got to give them time to adapt to the game.
Okay, well, let's hope, I hope it turns around for you. I want to be telling good things about Bromley Juniors. You've heard
the determination and spirit is there. It's, every week's training is, we have a good turnout. Players are willing to learn, take advice from their managers or their peers, even if they're younger than you, we take advice from them. And that is part of the learning curve. So I think that's what has changed.
Listen, let's hope you turn it around and things get back on track. We've looked at Beaumont, we've looked at St Catherine's, just about beating a West End Reserve. I like the look of the West End Reserve team.
They're a good team, well organised. They're very, very skillful. I have to say, some of the wingers are really, really good. They're really determined, and they're really hungry as well. The previous week they played the under-21 St Catherine's, and they had a right laugh actually, because they were winning all the balls and they had about 65% possession, and they gave the under-21 teams a really hard time. But this week they were against the big brothers, St Catherine's first team, and it was difficult for them. St Catherine's took an early lead, but they were always on the trail, always even coming really close. But St Catherine's, they've got a lot of firepower and a lot of experience.
Is it too early to say? And I'm just taking a punt on, you never know what could happen. Is it too early to say that maybe we could have a team from first and second division? Now I'm looking at SCTA's, reach out at maybe even Western Reserve, could make semi-finals of both League Cup, Challenge Cup.
For me, no. Only team I can see getting to that stage is Reach Out. Apart from that, I don't see SCTA, I don't see Western Reserves, the team that are going any further. Reach Out is a team I'm really impressed with.
SCTA have just put 6 goals past a Premier Division team.
Yes, I've seen that, but I've seen the game.
That's not the first time they've done it either. They're doing it this summer as well.
I've seen the game, I've seen the players, I've seen the squad. So based on the game I saw and the team, I've seen them, not just summer, last year, year before, and the year before that, they're not that good. So the question you ask is, will they go? No, they won't. Reach Out is the only team, I think, got the quality and the fitness to go further.
Wow.
I disagree. I really do. It's all about the energy, the youngsters. It's all about the umph, the confidence. And I think SCTA have that.
So if that's the case,
they have kids who are hungry to win. And they have the kids who the urgency.
If that's the case,
I think they have a chance.
Got youth, hungry, energy. How come they're not getting further?
But I think these SCTA, they've been there for a while, these youngsters. I've seen Bobby and they've been there for a while. Our Bromley Juniors were a totally different team. We're trying to develop
like youth youngsters. And hunger. It's not about that. It's on the day you're going to see the team and the players performing and the game itself. Based on that,
I think they have the management as well.
What I have to say, SCTA, we've seen them play and they're a really good team. I haven't had the pleasure to see Reach Out play yet, but they seem to be making a lot of noise. Yes. And I really want to go and watch and see them play one day, and I think that the SCTA and Reach Out, they from what I'm hearing, they seem to be on the same sort of level.
And sometimes I don't think it's about what happens on the day. On the day you might suffer a heavy defeat or you might win by a big margin. Yeah. It all depends on what you do behind the scenes and what the managers do, what the players do. And obviously, I said, it's not what about happens on the day. It's about what happens behind closed doors. So
guys, I'm going to have to stop it there. It's a good debate. I love it when we see. It's great when we don't have clips. because, you know, we can stir up some friction on the stage. I have to say, mate, in 2-3 weeks' time, I think it is, SCTA Meet reach out in a league game, and it'd be interesting to see what happens there. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about all of the league fixtures to come this week and maybe look a little bit more at the teams we've been discussing here.
আপনারা দেখছেন ILFL সকার নাইট সৌজন্যে নীলাজ হোম লিমিটেড প্রবাসে মায়ের হাতের ছোঁয়া।